Alright, so all you do is just walk through the trigger,
Form staggered column.
and you
Move
get
back.
that hint. You have spawn and infantry patrol. Today I'm going to share with you 5 spawn and patrol codes that you can use in your Arma 3 scenarios to spawn infantry, vehicles, planes, helicopters, boats, and even drones that will then patrol a marker you set. Here we are on the workshop page for the 5 spawn and patrol codes composition. I have a description of what this composition does and a code notepad document that you can download, which is all 5 codes with the descriptions added for all the parameters, so you understand how to adjust and change the parameters based on what you want to spawn. Here we have a list of all the features for the codes and other features that are based in the code itself, kind of describing what some of the code does. Here we have a section for acquiring class names for those who do not know how to acquire class names. And here we have a section for compositions in general. This here is the actual address, if you want to call it that, to locating the composition in the editor. Let's subscribe to the composition. And so the composition is subscribed to. I will link this in the description of the video, and when you get it, just come to this page and you can download this code notepad document. Let's download the code notepad document. It'll take you to an external site. This will take you to my Google Drive. So all you need to do once you get here is go to the top left here, click on download, and you'll get a dialog that comes up that says 5spawncodes.zip. Just hit OK, save it to some folder or your desktop, wherever. And I'm going to save it into my new videos folder. Alright, let's go in game and take a look at this composition. Before we place a composition, we want to go to the toolbar here, and you want to go to the toggle vertical mode and set it to where the horizontal line is going over the top, just like that. Then go to the toggle surface snapping so that both arrows are pointing to a horizontal line. From there, we're going to go to F2 compositions and then go to custom, and you'll be in the section for the compositions. Now the top half before Steam subscribe content are the compositions that you've created in the editor itself. If you don't have any, then well, this will be blank. Under the Steam subscribe content, you're going to go down to where it says other, and you're going to choose 5 spawn and patrol codes. Once you click that and it's highlighted just like this, it's going to attach itself to your mouse cursor. So wherever your mouse cursor goes, it will be on your mouse cursor. So we're going to go out here and we're going to place that right about here. And before you click on anything, while everything's still highlighted, go to the rotation widget. You could either click this or hit your space bar 3 times and click on this blue circle here, and it will just rotate your composition where you want it. And once you have that, just go to no widget, click on the map, and everything will be set. So everything should be placed flat on the ground and you're all set. So what we have here is Blue 4 as a player, and we have a trigger, a spawn marker, and a patrol marker. The same thing is set for 4 other triggers and markers. Now if we go to the map, I have this marked out and labeled. So the first spawn trigger is an infantry spawn. So you could spawn different types of infantry of your choice. Here we have a vehicle spawn, so you could spawn vehicles. Here we have plane or a helicopter spawn. Here we have a boat spawn, which will actually move near the water. And then here we have a drone spawn where you can spawn drones. So when you spawn anything, they will spawn at this marker, and then they will move and patrol the radius of this marker here. Now you can change the icon type of these markers if you want. You can even make them all transparent as well. So let's take a look at trigger itself for the infantry spawn marker. Now this is a basic area marker. The activation is set for BLUFOR present, so you could set that to whatever you want. The activation type is present, so you could even do this using a radio trigger. All you really need here is the code. And set the repeatable, so that means you could respawn multiple times. If you only want to do something once, then obviously don't have it set to repeatable. Here is the code in the on activation box. Here we are in my new videos folder, and this is the zip file that we downloaded. Let's open it and just drag the notepad document out. Close this and delete that. And let's take a look at the 5 spawn codes notepad document. So we'll just maximize this. Now this basically has everything from the workshop already. So what we're going to do is going to go straight to the codes. Infantry patrol, and here's the parameters. So this is an array for class names for infantry. The next line is the faction side. So you have West, East, Resistance, and Civilian. I have it set for West. This here in between the quotes is the name of the marker, where it says here marker where they spawn. This next line is in between the quotes the name of the marker where they will patrol. They will patrol around this marker. Here is the patrol radius, which is 100 meters. And when they spawn, they will patrol 100 meters around this marker. So that's pretty much it for the infantry one. I did add a hint at the bottom. You don't need to have that, so if you want to take that out, you could do that. I just put that in there for feedback. Let's take a look at the vehicle code. So here is the same thing. So you have parameters. These codes are all set up the same, so you should have a general idea of how this all works already. So we have 2 vehicles here, and this is the vehicle class names. This is the faction side. This is the spawn marker, so remember the name is what's in here. You could also change this as long as what you put for the marker is in between the quotes and the same in the editor, it'll work. This is the marker for the vehicle patrol. So this is the patrol marker, the patrol radius, which is 100. You can adjust this to whatever you want. And then we have spacing, which is 12 meters. Now what this spacing is, when a vehicle spawns, let's say you spawn 2 vehicles, like I have here, when they spawn, they will spawn 12 meters apart. Now the lower that number is, the closer they spawn together, and you don't really want to do that. So anything under like 8, you're really pushing it, because if they spawn together, then both vehicles will blow up and be destroyed. So vehicle spawn positions and directions. So marker direction, basically when you place a marker, the vehicle will spawn in the same direction that you face the marker. Here is the base direction, which is 90 degrees, base direction plus 90 degrees, left of marker direction and right of marker direction. So what that means is, let's say one vehicle spawns, the next vehicle will spawn either left or right of the spawn marker 90 degrees, which means to the left or the right of the vehicle, and about 12 meters away from that marker in that vehicle. Here we have the air patrol helicopter or plane. With this you can spawn both plane and helicopter. I recommend that you just spawn one thing at a time, but you can spawn a helicopter or a plane. This is set for the faction side. This is the marker where they will spawn. This is where they will patrol. This is the patrol radius. This is the altitude, and again you can adjust that too. Here we have spawn and patrol positions. The only thing you need to be concerned about here is if you scroll down, it's going to be this, and you probably don't need to really mess with this. 250 is the speed at which the plane, when he spawns, will start at, because if the plane just spawns and literally is at 0 and not 250, if he's not already moving, he's going to basically do a nosedive and just crash right into the ground. I wouldn't even mess with this. You don't even need to worry about this, because when they spawn, the plane will already be up in the air and flying, and this just makes sure that they have speed and velocity. Otherwise they'll just do a nosedive. For the boat patrol, I recommend obviously spawning boats onto the water itself. So here is an assault boat for BLUFOR. That's the class name. Class names go in between the quotes. And then this is the faction side. You have the marker spawn and the marker patrol. Then you have the patrol radius. Again, you can change that to what you want. The drone patrol. Parameters for the drone is pretty much the same setup. You have a class name for the drone, the faction side that it's on, the marker name, the marker that the drone is going to patrol, and then the patrol radius, of course. Now for the drones, just one point is that when you spawn a drone, the drone will be live. So it will spawn up in the air already and start patrolling that marker that you have set. And just to keep in mind that you want to have a UAV terminal in your inventory in order to access those drones that are flying. I have some code notes at the bottom here. This is not in the workshop page. Remove the 2 forward brackets, commented out description brackets in the code when adding the code to a trigger. Otherwise you will get an error with the trigger once clicking OK. So what that means is you have these descriptions right here that doesn't do anything. But if you include these, like say if you copied this right here into the trigger, then you are going to get an error because you can't have these descriptions in the trigger. So that's why I have a composition with the code only without these descriptions, and then a notepad document with all the codes and descriptions for each parameter. Before we begin and get in game and I show you how these spawns work, we're going to go to the boat spawn itself and we're going to move the boat spawn. To do that, just make sure they're all in view, and then just hold down your left mouse cursor and just pull away until you see a box form, and then just take that box and put it around everything, and then just let go of that. And once you see everything highlighted, then what you're going to do is you're going to just drag it to a location where it's by the water. I'm going to go over here, and we're going to put this guy on the little peninsula here, and we're just going to drop them right there and just turn them around so that he's facing the water. Now for the markers are going to be important. Remember, you got one for spawn and you got one for patrol. We're going to have to actually move these. So notice if you look at the marker, it's floating above the water. We don't want that. We want it on the water. So we're going to move this out. Let's move it out to about here, and then we're just going to drop it down to the water. You'll see it snap. So if you have toggle surface snapping on, it'll snap to the surface. Alright, so that takes care of the patrol marker. Next, you want the spawn marker far away enough so that the boat has enough space to spawn. Because remember, the direction that the marker is facing is the direction that the boat is going to be facing when it spawns. So we're going to take this guy and drop him down. So he's going to spawn right about there. Let's move him over so that he spawns over here. Let's test this out and I'll show you what this kind of looks like. Alright, so all you do is just walk through the trigger.
Form staggered column.
And you get that hint. You have spawn and infantry patrol. And these guys will basically patrol, I believe I said 100 meters around the marker, which is going to be up there. Obviously not going to see it. But this is the marker, so this is 100 meters. 100 meters is going to be like that. So they're going to start and go wherever. They might go this way, they might go that way, they might go that way, etc. Alright, let's go to the vehicle spawn. That's going to spawn 2 vehicles. And notice the distance that they spawn from each other. Alright, let's go to the air spawn. This is going to spawn an A-10. There he is. Already flying. And let's go to the drone. And you can see the drone up there. Now to access the drone, and just go to the darter. There we are. We got a live drone. Alright, let's go to the boat spawn. So we just go to the map, and what we'll do here is we'll go to right about here and press left alt and then hit the left mouse button, and that'll teleport us over. So we just walk into the trigger, and there you see the boat. We're going to change this to OPFOR. So we're going to delete this guy, and we're going to go to OPFOR, and we're going to choose a rifleman unarmed. And we're just going to place him right here. Alright, so he is the player, he is set up. We're going to go to the trigger, and we're going to edit the trigger. This is all you need to edit. And we're going to set the activation for OPFOR present. And that's it for that part. Now for the code itself, all you really need to worry about is the class names, which is in between the quotes. And just change this to East. So we'll just change this to East. For here, we have to change this to a bunch of soldiers that we're going to spawn. So we'll just hit OK for now. I'm going to show you how to acquire class names for soldiers that you want to spawn. We're going to spawn a group. So let's go to F2 compositions, and let's place down a fire team, which consists of 4 guys. We'll place them right here, and while they're highlighted, right click one of them, go to log, then go down to where it says log classes to clipboard. When you click that and the menu disappears, then you've logged all the class names for this team to your computer's clipboard. So now you just delete these guys because they're going to be spawned. So open the trigger. After the quote here, just go in between the quotes and highlight everything. Press Ctrl V. That will paste the class names. Now what you need to do is you need to put quotes after the class name. So for this class name, you have a quote, and then we'll put a comma, because comma separates each class name. And then you need a quote before each one of these guys. You can always copy the code and do it on a notepad document. That's another way to do it. And just do something like that. Now after each of these class names, just make sure you have a comma. And the last one doesn't get a comma. So from here, we'll just go like that. And you should see the comma in between the names. That's what you want. So we'll just check these to make sure they're correct, because if they're not, you're going to get an error and it's not going to load. So you have a quote before and after each class name, and then a comma to separate the next class name. And we are good. Alright, once you have that, just hit OK. We'll just save that for now, and then we'll just hit play, and let's check it out. So now we just walk into the trigger,
Staggered column.
and now you got CSAT infantry spawning for OPFOR. So let's update the other triggers. Let's go to the vehicles trigger, and let's change the activation to OPFOR present. And for here, same thing, we'll just change this to East. And now we need to get a class name that will go right here. So we'll just close this for now. And now we'll just go to F1, and we're going to go to cars. And we're just going to place Infantry, place him down, right click him, go to log, log classes clipboard. Once you have that, delete that, go back to the trigger, edit the trigger, and in between the quotes, press Ctrl V. And if you're only putting one class name, then all you need to make sure is just that there's quotes before and after, and then that's it. If you need to adjust anything else, then just press your arrow keys and adjust things accordingly. But that's it. Just hit OK, and you're all set for that. Let's do the air. So we'll edit this trigger. Again, change the activation to OPFOR, and we'll change this to East, EA. And then for the class name, we'll just hit OK for now. And let's go to air, planes, and we'll just put this guy down out here so you got room. And click him, make sure he's highlighted. Right click him, go to log, log classes clipboard, and delete the plane. And then go back to the trigger, and then in between the quotes, paste the class name. And there you go. All right, let's go to the drone, and we'll just place this guy AR2. We'll get his class name right away, and then edit the trigger, change the activation, and then you could paste the UAV in here. We already got it, and then just change this to EA for East, and then that's about it. You can change the radius if you want. That one's set, and actually let's go change the boat now. Trigger activation is OPFOR present. Change this to EA, hit OK for now, and let's place a boat. Let's make this guy a speedboat HMG, place him in the water. Right click him, go to log class to clipboard, he's set. Delete the boat, and then back to the trigger, edit the trigger, add the class name, he's set. Oops, we're missing a quote right here. Somehow we missed the quote. It's okay. All right, so that takes care of that, and let's go back to the player, and that sets that up. So once you have everything set, hit save, and let's play it. All right, so we have our infantry.
Form staggered column.
एक साथ में हरकत कौन? Sam the chap.
And now we have our vehicle. Don't hit that guy. Good job. And now we're going to have our fighter jet. There you go. And let's go to a drone. There's our drone, and since we got a UAV terminal, we can access that and choose him. Look at that. And we can see ourselves down on the ground. Release UAV terminal. And let's go to the boat next. We go to the map, and then we put our cursor at the location of where we want to spawn, and just hold down left alt, click your left mouse button, and that'll teleport you to that location. So let's walk into the trigger, and that spawns our boat with CSAT crew. I will link this workshop page in the description of the video. I hope that you find this useful, you understand how to properly get everything and do everything, apply the class names. I want to thank you guys for watching. For more codes and scripts,